All right, so here we have Pikmin by the Oblivinator. So take us away.
All right, I'm ready whenever you are for a countdown.
All right, we can go ahead in 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool. So this is Pikmin all parts, which is a fancy word for any percent. Collecting all the ship parts is the fastest way to beat the game. Story in Pikmin is very, very simple. This is Captain Oliver. He's flying his ship, the SS Dolphin. He gets hit by a meteorite. His ship crash lands on an unknown planet. As he's crashing, parts of his ship fly off into the area, and he has to enlist the help of Pikmin to recover the ship parts, to repair his ship, and he can launch back into space and go home. Short and sweet. The mysterious planet that he lands on is actually Earth. And I think from the game lore, this takes place after like humans have gone extinct for whatever reason. And this is just the world that's left over.
So then is this before or after the Planet of the Apes?
I would say probably after, because I don't see any apes in this game either.
Fair.
So there are 3 colors of Pikmin that we'll encounter in this game. Red, yellow, and blue. This is the red Pikmin. Red Pikmin are immune to fire. They also deal 1.5 more damage when they attack compared to the other 2 types, so they're mostly used for defeating enemies and then getting through fire puzzles. Day 1 on the impact site is a tutorial day. The objective of this day is just to kind of grow 25 Pikmin as fast and efficiently as possible. Collect our engine ship parts so we can launch off into different areas. Collecting these pellet posies converts them into Pikmin sprouts that get sewn into the ground and then eventually plucked when they're fully grown. Oops. Here's the first instance of a technique that we call far throwing. If Captain Oliver is holding a Pikmin and throws the Pikmin while he's running, the Pikmin inherits some of Oliver's momentum and flies a little bit further than if he was standing still. This is our first little obstacle that we overcome. Pikmin can push boxes, build bridges, extend sticks, knock down walls, defeat enemies. Over there, that little spinning thing with all the pistons, that's our ship's engine. If I walk towards that, there'll be a cutscene that activates. Pikmin is kind of weird with cutscenes in that stuff in the background still kind of takes place. It doesn't really pause when there's a cutscene. Meaning that if the onion is in the process of dispersing Pikmin seeds, or Pikmin are growing in the ground, that stuff will still happen during a cutscene. So we try to activate our cutscenes when we can do the most optimal multitasking, save a little bit of time there. So I'm just waiting for a couple of sprouts to get thrown into the onion before I activate this cutscene. Now they're actually being planted and grown in the background here. And now they're already fully grown by the time I get back here. Here's all 25 of our Pikmin then for the first day. Now we have a little bit of downtime while this engine gets taken back to the Dolphin. There's a second ship part in this area. It's back here called the Positron Generator. It's way back here in that pearly clam in the top left. Now, we're using glitches. It's possible to collect that part on day one. The game is programmed that whenever you collect a part on day one, it automatically ends the day. Brings you to the end of day screen, which is like a summary of all the tasks that you completed that day, how many Pikmin you grew, etc. Even if I were to collect the Positron Generator, I still get the same result as if I collected the engine. So because of that, we're always going to have to make a second trip to come to this area. That leads to the fastest completion time of this day is 6 in-game Pikmin days. That's what the world record goes for, and a lot of the top runners do. I'm nowhere near that skill level, so I'm going for an 8-day completion. Some things could get screwed up, and I might have to go for a 9-day completion, but hopefully we get the 8-day run. It's a little bit more of a moderate challenge to go for the 8-day run. I'm also going to waste a little bit of time and save the day. That way, in case something goes terribly wrong, I can kind of revert back to that. It's marathon luck, you never know. This next area is called the Forest of Hope. I like to call it the Forest of Nope, just because it seems to kill my runs very often. And this kind of has that iconic Pikmin music that people are most familiar with. In the beginning, we're kind of trapped in this little landing area until we knock down this wall that's in front of us. We have the opportunity to grow a couple more Pikmin, which we'll take advantage of. I need to grow about 77 red Pikmin is ideal. A little more, a little less doesn't hurt. So there's a lot of food pellets and corpses over here that we'll collect with the Pikmin. Get out. Alright, and with that we should get exactly 77 red Pikmin. Excuse me. The next big luck factor, the run is coming up here. If I were to leave these Pikmin in the ground, eventually the leaf on top of their head would grow into a bud. And then after a little bit more time they would grow or bloom into a flower. Flower Pikmin move faster and they complete tasks faster, so for a speed run we want to have all flower Pikmin ideally. I could jumpstart this process by having Pikmin pluck the grass, and plucking grass yields nectar, but it's completely random if you get a nectar drop or not. Thankfully, this is the last time we have to pluck large amounts of Pikmin too. It's rather boring and takes a long time. Yeah, I didn't get trolled. I need to separate 4 Pikmin. Oh, that was 5. That's alright. Sometimes the A button in this game doesn't work. It's very finicky. Start those guys on that gate, and then these 4 Pikmin over here are going to build a bridge. I don't need to cross this bridge on day 2. When I make a second trip to the Forest of Hope, that bridge will already be built, and that'll save some time. Back here is where the yellow onion hides. So we'll be discovering yellow Pikmin today too. Somebody grabbed something. Okay, not like he was supposed to grab that. So yellow Pikmin are able to be thrown higher and farther compared to the other 2 types. And in this game, they're the only type of Pikmin to be able to carry bomb rocks, which are used to destroy stone gates and deal large amounts of damage to enemies. So we just need to grow only 15 yellow Pikmin. It's not that they're not useful compared to the other Pikmin types, it's just we don't need as many. There are 2 ship parts in this game that are going to be collected using only yellow Pikmin, and one of them requires 10 yellows, where the second requires 15 yellows, so that's all we really need. I will be growing an additional 3 more in the next area, just as a safety. Got a little hasty there. Over there is some bomb rocks. There's going to be a cutscene when the Pikmin pick up those bomb rocks to like the impact site. I want this cutscene to take place while Pikmin are being grown in the onion, just to save a little bit of time. And we'll use our first 3 bomb rocks here to destroy that wall. We don't need to go back there. It's just going to save some time on the return trip. Here's the first ship part that we're going to collect today. It's called the Eternal Field Dynamo. Grab some more bomb rocks. That was a noon message. That was odd. I don't know why they dropped that. I can try for a cutscene skip though because of that. There we go. I need one more drop of nectar. I got just a couple more flowers with me. Or leaf Pikmin out. Yeah. There's some leftover grass over here though we can try. Oh, that sucks. Oh well, we'll have to keep going. So an odd side effect of cutscene skips, and I'll kind of explain them a little bit later in the run too. I need one bomb rock. There we go. Is they mute sound effects in this game for some strange reason. Cutscene skips will mute different sound effects, and each cutscene skip is a little bit different on what sound effects that they mute. So right now, the sound of throwing my Pikmin is kind of muted. This is a little bit of a sequence break. You're meant to use blue Pikmin to destroy this wall in the water, but with some fancy throwing of the bomb rock Pikmin, we can kind of position them in a way that they'll be able to destroy the wall with their bomb rocks. Why did they run in the water? It's very odd. One more bomb rock refill here for our yellow Pikmin. And then this ship part's called the Nova Blaster. I need to throw 4 bomb rock Pikmin up on this ledge. That's, there we go. And then these black stone gates take 9 bomb rocks. Pikmin are kind of notorious for doing things that you don't want them to do. They'll like to have a mind of their own and grab onto different things to carry back to their onions that you're not really wanting them to carry back. Rip that Pikmin. I'm looking for the purple Shear Grubs here. These are the ones that can actually kill Pikmin. I need them to be dead. That guy is just chomping down. That's not good. And then these guys. I should still have 50 though. I have 48. Okay. 2 of them must have grabbed onto something. There they are. Little buggers. That's going to waste some time.
When there's a good time, we have a donation.
Go ahead.
All right, so $5 from Rush, saying, let me. Hey, Obliv, I got a question. I really want to know how y'all people are doing. And by the way, is your finger still attached? Functioning properly?
Yes.
Stay great, dude. Love, Rush.
That was the whimsical radar, and then this is the extraordinary bolt. Oh, actually, this guy. Please carry that back. There we go. Alright, so we're getting to the first boss. Excuse me. First boss of the area. A little nervous about this boss. You can kind of kill a run. I'll try and go for the absolute safest marathon strat. I'm actually kind of running low on time because those Pikmin decided to carry that bug corpse back. Okay, it looks like he's doing a good thing. This is the armored cannon beetle. I think I can go for the strat where I deload him, which is a little complicated to explain. Nope, never mind. He's trolling me. And we've collected enough ship parts to expand our dolphin's range so we can go to the next area. I need him to look up here. That's a little... There we go. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to collect every ship part that I needed for this day. I think I'm going to run out of time, so I have to load a save for day 3, which is fine. That's why I made them, just in case something like this happened. But there's a ship part over here. I'll kind of show it off, and then we'll have to skip collecting it and just load up day 3 as if I collected it. We'll pretend that we collected it. No one saw anything. This is the shock absorber, so we would have collected that too. A couple of things that went wrong in the day, those Pikmin grabbing that pellet or whatever it was. When I was kind of by the whimsical radar, this blue pellet, that kind of sealed the deal for the day. So we're just going to pretend that I collected the shock absorber up there.
I totally saw it happen.
Just for the sake of, you know, keeping the gravy train rolling. Uh-oh, one little guy got left behind too. Rest in peace. Alright, so now we're going to the forest navel. This is my personal favorite area. Has kind of a nice mellow tone to it. There may be a restart point in the beginning of this area. I need a creature called the Fiery Blowhog to drop a pellet, and it's, you know, RNG based again, or luck based. Fortunately for us, it's like right in the beginning of the day, so if I do have to reset it, there's like 45 seconds at most. We'll have 2 Pikmin start destroying that wall. Get up. So if a Pikmin trips, you can dismiss your Pikmin squad, and that'll immediately like put them in a recovery mode where they'll get up and run towards you. Oh, there's the bread bug. He's getting away from me. Okay, is he coming back? Is he coming back? Yes, he's coming back. The bread bug has a ship part in him. There we go. And he's going to carry the pellet back or try to carry the pellet back, but the Pikmin will overpower him. Don't die, don't die. Okay, we gotta do a reset. That was my fault there. When you swarm the blowhog, if you get all of your Pikmin onto him before he spits the fire out of his mouth, they're normally safe there. I just played poorly and made a mistake. But that's why we save. Oops. Okay, so there's a third one on that bridge, or that wall. I'll need to remember that. I saw him over here. There he is. So to explain the bread bug a little bit more, you damage Pikmin by throwing, or you damage him by throwing Pikmin on him. And then the rest of the damage will come from when he's like sucked up into the onion. Alright, round 2. One more blowhog over here to destroy. Now we're going to collect all these pellets and corpses, and we'll bring them closer to where the blue onion is. I'm surprised more didn't grab onto that. This will all help boost our blue Pikmin numbers when we start growing blue Pikmin later in the day. Alright, now we need to round up all the Pikmin and go collect some ship parts and fight some bosses. Must be all of them. There was, what, 3... So here I'm using a technique, it's called fast throwing. It's where if, I need to reposition myself, there we go. It's when I use the C-stick to keep the group of Pikmin very close to Oliver. That way there's little time from when he throws Pikmin, or there's little time in between his Pikmin throws. It just allows you to throw Pikmin so much more faster than if you were to just mash A. $15 bomb rocks over here for the day. If I were to whistle these Pikmin, they would drop their bomb rocks. So one of the properties of yellow Pikmin is if you throw them and there's no creature nearby or no wall to destroy, they just kind of stand in a weird state where once you whistle them, they drop their bomb rock and it immediately sets it off to explode. So that's why you have to go up and touch them instead of whistling them there. So here's the first boss of the area. He's kind of a pushover. His name is the Puffstool. Once you know how to beat him, he's very easy. The second boss over here is my personal favorite. His name is the Bt Longlegs. He has a really cool theme. It's kind of like a high tension theme. And you're supposed to defeat him with yellow Pikmin, but it is possible to defeat him with red Pikmin. It's just kind of tricky. Ouch. I was hoping he would have killed one more Pikmin. I want to have a total of 90 on the field instead of 91. But we can make it work. This Puffstool corpse gives 30 Pikmin sprouts when it's collected at the onion, so it's very kind of weight efficient. You know, it only takes 10 Pikmin to carry it to give 30 sprouts. They'll help boost their numbers up really quickly. At the end of the day, we need 90 blue Pikmin, by far the most of any Pikmin type color. We'll leave that part there, and we'll collect it later. I need all the yellow Pikmin, pardon me. Fortunately, I have to sacrifice a Pikmin here. Look away if you don't like Pikmin suffering. Then I'm going to leave 5 Pikmin on this wall. 6, since I threw an extra one on accident. They will finish destroying that wall, so when I come to the Forest Navel a second time, that wall will already be destroyed. And that guy is just continuously spitting fire out of his mouth. I've never seen that. That is crazy. He's very dangerous right now. That is so odd. Yeah, I guess you see something every time. And here's the blue Pikmin. That should be the last ship part that was on its way, and then there are 2 next to the dolphin that we have yet to collect. And then those 2 will allow us to open up the 3rd area, the distant spring. This is always kind of tricky. Pikmin don't always like to grab onto stuff like this. They get kind of stuck underneath the edges and stuff. There we go. So there's the bread bug that we had issues with earlier. I need yellow Pikmin, please. There we go. I gave his corpse to the yellow Pikmin. It gives us an additional 3 yellow Pikmin sprouts. That just kind of helps in case a yellow Pikmin should die accidentally. I'm going to try for what's called an area cutscene skip. It's basically 2 back-to-back frame perfect tricks. I can kind of buffer a little bit. Nope, I missed it. Okay. If you activate a text box on the same exact frame that a ship part would be sucked up into the onion, it skips this cutscene of showing the part being collected by the dolphin. Now, if you do that twice, if you skip a cutscene while there is a part being sucked up because you skipped the cutscene of that one, it'll skip this cutscene of showing the dolphin expanding its area. It's kind of hard to explain. We'll throw these guys here on this wall to finish it off, and then we'll go grow the rest of our blue Pikmin, and then we'll be done for the day. You can kind of watch them up in the top right. And that's it for the Forest Naval 1. We are leaving 6 red Pikmin behind. They were the ones destroying that gate. It just kind of wastes too much time to go and save them. The next area is called the Distant Spring. It is kind of the easiest area to collect every single ship part in one take, which is why the 8-day run is possible. I'm going to try and collect all 10 ship parts in one single trip. No guarantees, because it's kind of tough for me. But if I don't have to make a return trip to this place, it saves a considerable amount of time. It's like 3 or 4 minutes on the run. Oh, so close. I only need 90 blue Pikmin. The first goal is to get all 90 of these blue Pikmin flowers, and it can be kind of tricky. I don't know if it's just me and confirmation bias, but this grass patch seems to significantly give me low amounts of nectar. But hey-oh, I got pretty lucky here. Now we'll take our blue Pikmin. Where is the 20th one? Oh, he must have tripped. He's way back here. Walking on this little area is kind of precarious. Come on, buddy. You can make it over there. There you go. I hate that sound of Pikmin being stuck in the water. Over here, this isn't a boss enemy, but it's a regular enemy that managed to get a ship part inside of him. We kind of joke around. He's like a balloon type enemy called the Puffy Blowhog. And when you see the ship part, you kind of wonder, how did he manage to get this through his snout? And I guess the way I look at it is maybe since he's kind of like a balloon, he can stretch his mouth over things. It's just kind of weird to think about and kind of funny. Over here, these are yellow Wallywogs. I need them to jump into a certain position so that they leave Pikmin alone when they're carrying ship parts back. Same with these Wallywogs over here too. Uh-oh, some Pikmin are dying. I bet they were on the interstellar radio. I bet a Wallywog jumped up and just clipped the corner of it, crushing 2 Pikmin underneath him, and the other 23 were managed to carry that part back. Yep, that's what happened. That guy over there that just jumped. We're allowed, we can continue though with 2 less Pikmin, that's fine. Use our area for bomb rocks. And then over here is the ship part called the massage machine. Oh, that's right, I have 2 less Pikmin. My numbers are kind of screwy now. I really don't like this next area. It's pretty claustrophobic with enemies that can quickly dispatch your entire squad. There's 2 ball bears and then a puffy blowhog. The puffy blowhog can just blow them all over the place and they'll lose their flowers. And if these ball bears wake up, they can cause some serious damage to your squad, like that guy just ran right into him. Rip the tripping Pikmin. I need to wait for him to go back to sleep. He'll lose interest eventually, I hope. Yeah. Tripping Pikmin are usually the bane of my runs too. And I ran. That's unfortunate too. Recycled enemy, armor cannon Beetle. He has a ship heart inside of him this time, he's not just guarding it. There he is. Come on, guys. Couple more bomb marks to destroy some more walls around here. I don't know if this part is... Nope, okay. Sometimes that part clips into the wall there and it makes Pikmin hard, or it's difficult for Pikmin to grab onto it and you gotta kind of unclip it out of the wall. Another little sequence break, just kind of like what we did in the Forest of Hope, by throwing some Pikmin over water gaps to destroy a wall with their bomb rocks instead of having blue Pikmin destroy this wall. So now that these 2 bridges are complete, we can take these Pikmin and grab what's called the Zirconium Rotor. It's another little precarious place. The Pikmin trips in here and gets squished. It's a huge setback. Thankfully that one tripped after the Wallywogs jumped. Try for a cutscene skip here that I normally don't get to. Nope, missed it. Alright, here's our second pass through this area. little bit smoother that time. I'm a little bit too close. Coming up is the only glitch. Where are my other two yellow Pikmin? No, don't do that. The yellow Pikmin figured out they could maybe swim through water with the part. Back to what I was saying, this is the only glitch in the run. Everything else is just kind of fast tech. I can clip up onto this ledge using this ball bear, and this saves me having to do a puzzle that's very lengthy to collect a ship part called the Chronos Reactor. If this guy behaves. Come on, buddy. There we go. It's looking really tight on time to get all 10 ship parts. I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to do it. It's going to be very close if I do.
We believe in you.
We'll try. There'll be a message that says it's close to sundown, and if that message pops up when I'm near the gluon drive, we'll be able to get it. But if it's quite a bit before that, we won't be able to, and I'll just make a second trip. Yeah, I'll probably just have to make a second trip. Just a couple little inconsistencies that happened. There we go. See, I need to be very close to the gluon drive when that part. I'm also kind of worried about this ball bear. I think he might pop up and eat those yellow Pikmin. He doesn't exactly go back to sleep in the same spot that he was in the beginning when before he was woken up. And if he's sitting in the path of that UV lamp, that could be problematic. Okay, it looks like they made it past him. So we'll come back. We'll have to collect one ship part, unfortunately. Coming back on day 5 is a little troublesome because the later into the game you get, like the higher your day count is, the more enemies spawn in areas. So coming to this area on day 4, there's a lot of creatures that actually aren't spawned here. Hey yo, we got a cutscene skip. When I come back on day 5, there's going to be a couple of creatures that are kind of problematic. There's a puffy blowhog near the base that can kind of interrupt you, and then there's creatures called swooping snitch bugs, which are the absolute worst. There's no pattern to them. They just actually roam around the area randomly, and they swoop down and grab your Pikmin and then replant them in different areas, and it can be so frustrating to fight them. You never know where they're going to be on the map. Thankfully, our second trip to the distant spring is going to be really short, just a minute or two. Still kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So there's the puffy blowhog that I was talking about. He can kind of get in your way a little bit. I don't see snitch bug yet, which is good. But I do need to distract this Wallywog again then. He needs to be over in this way. The snitch bug is right there. You can see his shadow. Come on, buddy. There we go. Hopefully he ignores us. He'll ignore Pikmin as if they're carrying a part. I do need to wake these ball bears up and do a kind of a cool trick. There's a little Easter egg, or I don't really know if it's an Easter egg or not, but Oliver can lay down. And when he lays down, he's invulnerable to enemy attacks. So these ball bears will just continuously try to chomp on me while the Pikmin carry that part past them. That should be good enough. And then I'll go rescue these guys that were left behind. When I make second trips to the next few areas to clean up the rest of the parts that we left, some of the enemies that I had destroyed have respawned, and I'll have to kill them again. It's part of the just what happens when you have to take an extra day to do things. There's a Pikmin on the field somewhere. These guys like to eat the bridges that you built. We're going to leave the majority of our blue Pikmin over here to build this bridge. Then the rest of the Pikmin, we're going to go fight a boss in this area. I can leave those guys alone. There's actually 3 of them. They're called burrowing snake rats. They're kind of like a snake-bird hybrid that live in the ground. Pretty interesting. It's a little tricky to get your Pikmin across this bridge without them falling off like that. Thankfully it was blue Pikmin and not red Pikmin. Please. So the snag red that's over in this corner is the one that has the ship part inside of him. I just need to wait for him to come out of the ground. There we go. Now we can try and get cutscene skips on these two parts. Otherwise, other than that, there's not a whole lot left to do in this day. A little bit late on that one. That's the Geiger counter. As you can see, it's going off as if this area is radioactive. A fan theory is that humans went to nuclear war with each other, and that's why they were extinct, and the land is highly irradiated now. Missed both of them. Next, we'll clean up the impact site. This guy is called the Iridescent Flint Beetle. He's kind of annoying. Pikmin are very attracted to him. They'll follow him around and try and attack him, and if he runs through your entire squad, just the Pikmin immediately start, you know, they're distracted by him. It's quite annoying to round them back up. Oops. Okay, good. That guy carried his bomb back. Destroying that gate gives the Pikmin a shortcut to take this part back with. And I need to position my cursor. That looks really good, actually. Oh, so close. If you position your cursor incorrectly there, the Pikmin won't like land right next to the part and start attacking it to get it out of the clam. They'll have to move slightly. And if they have to move slightly, not enough Pikmin can do enough damage to get the clam or the part out of the clam in one cycle. And then you can end up eating your Pikmin or whatever the case may be. It's just tricky with cursor placement, especially on the Gamecube controller. It's not exactly the most precise thing. There you go, got one. That's it for the impact site. That's the shortest day in the entire run. All we have left to do is clean up the forest navel. And then we had the final area with the final boss. And the final ship part. Here we get to use the trifecta Pikmin colors to complete these puzzles. And I will have to kill the fiery blowhogs again. They respawn after so many days. Where's... Please. I don't quite know if I need to defeat this one, but I'm going to just in case. I don't think so, but it's better to be safe than sorry. That's quite a lot of pellets. Here it's really important that no Pikmin trip. Yeah, if they do, they kind of... if it's a red or a blue Pikmin, or excuse me, a blue or a yellow Pikmin, it can cause quite a bit of time loss. My favorite ship art is over here. It's called the Analog Computer. All we need to do is really just get it out of the water for red Pikmin to carry back later. You'll notice that the last cutscene skip I got muted the jingle that plays when you march Pikmin using the C-stick. Some people complain that hearing that jingle throughout the entire run gets kind of annoying, and they like the silence that provide some of the cutscene skips provide. Need to lure these two Wallywogs away from that ship part back there. That's called the anti-dioxin filter. And just keep them distracted. That should be good, and then there's one guy down here. He needs to hop over this way. There we go. Those Pikmin should be safe now. This is the second ship part that we use yellows to. There's actually kind of a soft lock you can encounter with this ship part. When ship parts fall, they have really bouncy physics applied to them if they're on the camera or on screen. By letting that ship part fall when we're not looking at it, it's just gonna fall to the ground straight, no bounces. It is possible that you get some really funky bounces, and that part will bounce into that void on the right side of the screen underneath the bridge, and there will be no way to collect that ship part, and you will be permanently soft locked from collecting that part and getting the good ending for this game, since you weren't able to collect all the required ship parts. Technically, only 25 of the 30 ship parts are required to launch. There are 5 ship parts you can skip. That ship part right there, the Libra, is one of those that you can't skip, so you will automatically get the bad ending for this game if that were to bounce off the bridge into the void. It actually happened to me once as a when I was quite younger, usually in middle school. The final ship part is the Ionium jet. It's a clone, or rather the clone was found in the distant spring, the Ionium jet number 2. This is the first one, but we collect the second one before the first one. I had the opportunity for another area cutscene skip here, which could save quite a bit of time. But again, it requires 2 frame perfect cutscene skips. We'll try. Just gonna wait a little bit for these ship parts to get over here. I don't want to walk towards them because there are shear wigs buried in the ground, and Olimer will activate the shear wigs and they'll pop out of the ground and try and eat the Pikmin and waste time if that were to happen. I want to delay this one just a little bit. Give him just a little bit of space in between the 2 of them. That should be good. Missed it. I can still go for a cutscene skip, but I won't be able to get the area cutscene skip. Hey, there we go. 1 out of 2, I guess. With that, there is 1 final ship part to collect. The last area is called the Final Trial, and I really like the music of this area. It's kind of... It doesn't sound like the other areas. It's just kind of, you know, very distinct, and you can tell that it's sort of the final area, the final frontier. So So the final trial, you're supposed to use all 3 Pikmin types to complete just some puzzles to get to the final boss. Using some special, using the yellow Pikmin, since they're able to be thrown higher and farther compared to the other Pikmin. There's a little developer oversight. They made it so one of the areas you can skip by just throwing yellow Pikmin over a ledge. Maybe they did intend for somebody to figure that out eventually, but I still will be using red Pikmin though to fight the final boss, just because they do 1.5 times more damage compared to the yellow and blue Pikmin. And this toss always is tricky. That guy is... Oh, they all lived. Nice. Usually one of them dies in that explosion because I'm just not fast enough. If I could mash fast enough, I could defeat the final boss using just blue Pikmin and these 15 yellow. I cannot mash fast enough, so I have to swap out my blue Pikmin here for red Pikmin, since they do more damage. The runners that complete this game in 6 in-game days can mash incredibly fast. It's very impressive. So here, just by grabbing these yellow Pikmin and throwing them, we don't have to go through that long line of fire geysers with red Pikmin. They kind of throw a white stick gate here, and it just melts to a squad of 100 yellow or 100 flowered Pikmin. It's quite funny. Right there's the Emperor Ball Blacks. He's the final boss of the game. I need to go over here and collect some bomb rocks to defeat him. Conveniently, they're right here. So I need to throw these guys about here, and then get the rest of my troops ready over here. And then we'll wake them up. That should do it. There you go. So the timing, or the time will end when this part gets collected. Just has to make a trip back to the dolphin. I can show off a quick little Easter egg. Using the ability to lay down, like we used in the Distant Spring to disrupt those ball bears. If Olimar lays down and he has Pikmin with him, they will carry him back to an onion, thinking he is food. He doesn't get sucked up though. Instead, a lovely firework pops out, kind of to symbolize the end of the run. And time is coming up right now.
GG, that clocks in at 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 6 seconds.
Good. Glad I was underestimated. Technically, it wasn't a true all parts run. I did have to skip the shock absorber just to keep it going, but
right.
This is the general idea. That's about all I have.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Oblivinator, for that run of Pikmin. That is super awesome. Stay tuned. We have Let's Tap coming up next. So, yeah, stay tuned.